Hello, and welcome to Gospel Gleanings for this Sunday, April the 28th, 2024. My brothers and sisters, on this fifth Sunday of Easter, we hear from the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verses 1 through 8. Jesus said to his disciples, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He takes away every branch in me that does not bear fruit, and every one that does he prunes so that it bears more fruit. You are already pruned because of the word that I spoke to you. Remain in me, as I remain in you. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit on its own unless it remains on the vine, so neither can you unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me will be thrown out like a branch and wither. People will gather them and throw them into a fire, and they will be burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask for whatever you want, and it will be done for you. By this is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples." My brothers and sisters, I think it is good for us to examine the ways that we can remain in Jesus, obeying the commandments, living our lives in accordance with gospel values, and striving for virtue. Persistent and consistent prayer, stirring into flame the loving relationship that God has for each of us. Receiving the sacraments regularly, especially the Eucharist, the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. Repenting of our sinfulness and trying again to be the person that God calls us to be. I think it is good that we also humble ourselves to acknowledge that we desire God, that we are wired for God, and to let Him prune us, to remove those areas that do not bear fruit, to make room for good fruit to grow. This can be a difficult process, my brothers and sisters. We often want to grasp and hang on to those areas of our lives that do not bear fruit, frustrating the plan of God for our lives. But even through those difficulties, God's grace surrounds us and transcends our human emotions, attitudes, and opinions. Jesus is the vine that gives life to all things, including us. As branches, we must be extensions of that life through his ever-enduring love. We do this by being people of peace, reconciliation, prayer, and almsgiving. Just as a vine does not measure the nourishment it gives, we too shouldn't count the cost when we are called to love one another. May we surrender to God so that he may bear good fruit through us and follow him in word and deed. He is the true vine that gives us everything we need to love our neighbor as ourselves. May we be willing recipients of that vine, ready to spread the good news to all that may listen. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.